Shimron, and he's my partner and my son, Leeor. And I didn't expect too many people. It's the first meeting that we publish on a meetup and both come to friends in the middle of the day. So I really want to thank anybody here, and especially for to come, because we are looking at the huge revolution in the currency market in the next few years, and we wanted to share it with you. And we also think that you can benefit from some information we're going to deliver to you. Basically, my son will do most of the work. I'm just doing the introduction. We know what's happened in the internet world. Without the internet, we cannot move today, right? Everything is internet. We do shopping for Amazon. We do traveling. We do anything we want. We can get on in. We cannot imagine our life without internet. And my son was studying in Wharton in UPenn, and I met him a few times. I met his friend. And his friend, after a year or so, said, listen, I'm on an island in Greece, and I'm having fun. How do you make a living? I just put few dollars in one of these currency, and I already made $1 million or $800,000 in about maybe a few months, 3 months, because it went up to high. So he said to me, would you mind to give me a little bit of money, and I'll try to see what I can do with the money. I said, okay, take what we have there in E-Trade. He took an X amount of money, and he returned me 2,200% in 6 months. This is something that blew my mind off. He said, if that's what you can get from me, I have to quit everything and really focus more and study more what's the potential here to make a little bit easier money. We've been working since we came to America from Israel. We've been there for over 30 years. And we had all kind of businesses, graphics, advertising, printing, restaurants. But to make this kind of return, it's something unbelievable, but it's all a matter of information. When you have the information, you can find the right investment. And that's what he's been doing in the past 8 months, 7 months. He's just studying that, and he has a lot of information to share with you. And if you are interested to know more about it, we will discuss a little bit later how you can benefit, and we can maybe share something together. That's really the purpose of the meeting. But we are planning to do here every Friday a meeting with different people, and we will increase the club, and if we can keep your emails, we will give you all kind of tips, and we will decide how to go in the future. I'm sorry?
Every Friday is a lot.
We want to try and find, we have a lot of friends, we don't want to invite too many, it's a small place. For me, we'll move maybe to a larger place. But let's see how we're doing first. So without further ado, I want to introduce Leeor, my son, and he will explain you a little bit more.
Excited Friday, right? Woo! But welcome. Thank you for attending. I know it's the middle of the day, not probably not the best time for everyone to be here, so I really appreciate you guys making the effort to come out here. So I think he actually made a pretty good introduction. I really want to talk about the broad strokes about what cryptocurrencies are, what the blockchain is. I know there are a lot of buzzwords, in the industry that are thrown around. People don't really know or understand what it actually means. So I kind of want to dig in, without getting into too much depth or too much detail, what those technologies actually are and how us as a society at large stand to gain from it. So this is the agenda that we're going to be talking about today. We're going to get into exactly what is the blockchain, what does it mean, how does it operate. I'm going to do an introduction to Bitcoin, which I'm sure most of you are familiar with. Then we're also going to be talking about Ethereum, which you're probably less familiar with, but it's one of the new technologies that I'm super excited about. Then we're going to be talking a little bit about crypto advisors, which is the investment club, investment fund that we are putting together, as well as a few investment strategies along the way as to how you can take this knowledge and actually hopefully make a return. So to get started, I have a question for you guys. So what do you think is cryptocurrency? So who says it's a medium of exchange, just by a show of hands? Meaning to transact, to make transactions, to exchange goods and services. Okay, 2 or 3 of you maybe. Who thinks it's a store of value, kind of similar to gold, where you can just kind of hold on to it. It has a stable value that you can exchange for other currencies or for other things of value that you can hold on to and won't be appreciate it over the long term. Who thinks it's programmable money? Kind of just applications that can be used to transmit value or to kind of encode certain applications into currency.
It'll be all three.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the right answer. It's actually, yeah, it's actually all three. So I'll be getting into that over the course of the presentation. But so as you can see, it's very it's very widespread. It covers many different aspects of how we interact with one another, how institutions interact with one another. So there's a lot of value there that we'll be discussing. So here are a few people that I'm sure you've heard of, and their kind of viewpoints on Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Bill Gates, who needs no introduction, has said Bitcoin is better than currency. Financial transactions will eventually be digital, universal, and almost free. John McAfee is the founder of McAfee antivirus software. He said, you can't stop things like Bitcoin. It will be everywhere, and the world will have to readjust. World governments will have to readjust. So a recurring theme that we'll be getting into is how Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are kind of detached from any political institutions or any political governments. So it's not overseen by any or tied to any political establishment. David Marcus, the CEO of PayPal, which is the preeminent international transmittance of money company, has said, I really like Bitcoin, I own Bitcoins, it's a store of value, a distributed ledger. It's a great place to put assets, especially in places like Argentina, with 40% inflation, where $1 today is worth 60 cents in a year. And a government's currency does not hold value. It's also a good investment vehicle if you have an appetite for risk. So I want to emphasize that this type of investment, it is in its early stages, very nascent. So it does have a lot of risk inherently involved with it, and it's very volatile. But if you believe in the core technology and what it can ultimately deliver over the long term, I think you'll be very happy if you actually invest in it, as it will only increase in value, especially if you're able to pick the right currencies and become involved in the right applications and currencies as they come to the market. Also, he mentions here how, since it's not tied to really any government or any country, every country has their own way of minting their own currency, of keeping the value of their own currency. But the value of their currency is pegged to there's certain actions that their Federal Reserve, the U.S. for example, the actions that they would take. So if let's say there's some sort of recession and the government wants to kind of stimulate the economy, what they'll do is they'll print fiat currency, or they'll print billions of dollars worth of money and just kind of pump it right into the economy, which can lead to a very unstable situation because that will devalue the money that you hold in your wallet and you have in your hands, leading you to actually lose money, which can be a very scary thing. And I mean, we're lucky being in the United States, the dollar is somewhat strong, but once there's like some political turmoil, that can really change the picture and cause the value of the dollar to plummet. So going again with that recurrent theme, Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies, since they're not tied to any political establishment, they really can hold their value over the long term. Now I'm going to show you a brief clip. This is a serial entrepreneur and Bitcoin enthusiast whose name is Andreas Antonopoulos, and he'll actually describe a little bit more about
We're sitting at a historical crossroads where the future of money is going to be digital. We're seeing a concerted effort around the world to ban cash, to reduce the availability, the value, and the liquidity of cash everywhere in the world. We just saw India demonetize the top two value notes they have. Spain is passing a law to make it illegal to make any transaction more than 1,000 euros in cash. Probably the 500 euro, 100 euro notes are going to disappear eventually. You're seeing this process of demonetization, of removing cash from the economy in order to funnel it all into banking systems that are under constant control and surveillance. This is a very dangerous future.
And that's usually because they want the taxation or they want the legislation. Either they see that money used by corrupt parties or they just use that as an excuse to control it.
The biggest criminals in the world have banking licenses of their own. They don't need to money launder. They own HSBC and that money launders for them. The biggest money launderers in the world are the banks, obviously, because that's where the money is. The easiest way to money launder is if you have a banking license. So of course, the biggest money launderers have banking licenses. These are excuses. What they want to do, of course, is they say taxation and corruption, but in fact, this actually increases corruption. So removing cash from an economy and putting everybody under surveillance doesn't mean that criminals can't use money anymore. Of course they can. They will continue to do that. They will always have means of doing it. It just means that everybody else is under surveillance. So you end up surveilling the innocent. And what does that give you? That gives you political control. This is a very dangerous road we're going down. We've never had in the history of humanity the ability to monitor everybody's economic activity all the time. And to give that power to governments without question is extremely dangerous. It won't result in reducing terrorism, but it will turn several governments into terrorists themselves. It won't reduce crime, but it will turn governments into criminals. It will reduce corruption, but it will increase corruption at banks. And it will put people at the mercy of a system in which, at a flick of a binary switch, you can become a non-person. Went to the wrong website, attended the wrong protests, associated with the wrong political party, expressed support for the wrong idea, off. You no longer exist. You can't buy food, you can't buy anything, you can't earn anything, and all of your money disappeared.
Because we don't give you a bank account.
Oh, you turn off the bank account.
Oh, okay.
Why not? And you don't give you a bank account, right? So
And since you can't use cash for anything, then you basically are a non-citizen.
you are a non-person. And what this will end.
So he touches on some key points. He's talking about how basically Bitcoin and these cryptocurrencies, their ultimate goal is this democratization of money, democratization of value. It's not tied to any, as I mentioned before, any particular political system, any group, any group of hackers, any group of governmental agents, any group of governmental agencies. It is purely about putting the power of our money and our currency and anything that we value in the hands of all of the citizens. So now let's get into Bitcoin, exactly what Bitcoin is. This is the largest cryptocurrency in terms of market cap. It's currently valued at around $42 billion. It was actually created in 2008 in response to the global financial meltdown by a group. It's actually an anonymous group called Satoshi Nakamoto. So we actually don't even really know who they are, but they create it in a way that's completely open source and that everyone can see the code, everyone can play and manipulate it, and actually experience the code themselves. Basically, developers all over the world have been playing with the source Bitcoin code ever since it was released. And since it was created in response to how poorly our financial institutions and governmental institutions reacted to the large financial recession that happened in 2007 and 2008. So they were printing billions of dollars of money. They were bailing out the banks. They were engaging in crony capitalism. So that hurted society in many different ways. And so this group really wanted to subvert those special interests and control by those different parties. So this is also the first cryptocurrency implementing a public blockchain. I'll be going into what a blockchain is exactly very soon. It has a total global supply capped at 21 million coins. So that means that you can only have 21 million Bitcoins ever in existence. Right now we're currently standing at around 16 billion. So that ensures that those coins are valued at something, that they have some value. Kind of like gold, there's only so much gold in the world, only so much gold that can be mined. And the process of actually acquiring more Bitcoins is through a process called mining. And I don't want to get too into the weeds as to how that works, but essentially you have these very difficult codes that are produced by the core software that computers all around the world, developers all around the world, they use their computing resources in order to hack, and in so doing, they create more Bitcoins and they're rewarded with new Bitcoins. And obviously with digital gold is kind of the best metaphor for Bitcoin. If you look at the gold market right now, it stands at about $7.5 trillion, which is an immense value. As I mentioned before, Bitcoin is at around $42 billion. People think that Bitcoin stands to overtake gold. Why not? It has so many benefits. You can send money cross borders instantaneously. You can use it to pay whatever you want. You can use it to send money to friends. Gold, you can't use it in those ways. You can't use it to buy something down the street. You have to safekeep it. You have to safekeep gold in a vault. It's not readily divisible as well. All right, so what exactly is a blockchain? So there are three key components to the blockchain. It's digital, it's decentralized, and it's immutable. And it's a public ledger, so it's a public record of all of the transactions that happen on the network. It's digital, meaning it runs on code, runs on software. It's decentralized in the sense that you have thousands of different computers all around the world that are running the same ledger and cross-verifying which version of the ledger is correct. It's immutable because you need to have a consensus amongst all these different computers around the world in order to have a single version of the blockchain. So if you have, let's say, 10% of all of these computers around the world running the wrong form of the blockchain, they're going to be kicked out by the other 90% because they have a consensus. So it's democratic in that way. And also,